Welcome to Mitten Music.
We traveled to Jackson, Michigan to attend GIG, the Art of Michigan Music, which highlights visual artists in music, such as photographers, videographers, and graphic designers. The event was held at Art 634 in Jackson. We had the opportunity to talk with 6 graphic artists at the event: Carl Lundgren, Jonathan Doyle, Dennis Preston, professor of Jackson College Chrissy Hughes, her student Jaylen Westbrook, and Matthew Jacobson. GIG at the event down here, really highlighting different visual arts, and you are a graphic designer,
yes.
Correct? Yeah.
Yes.
And you went to Jackson College?
I'm still in this.
You're still
This is my last semester.
Okay.
Ooh.
Awesome. So you're still a student working through the program.
We got
Yeah.
a local. I'm assuming
Born and raised here.
right in Jackson. Oh, it's not
Yes.
okay. Ooh,
All right. Cool.
very cool.
So what got you interested in graphic design? Why did you want to get into that program?
I have a curious mind. I see, things on social media and advertisements, and I'm like, how do they do that? I'm like, why not just go ahead and learn how they do it? And come to find out, I actually enjoy it. So having that opportunity now to tap into my creative side, I'm like, this is really enjoyable. It does help when you have a really good professor that believes in you and gives you good critique on your work. So shout out to Professor Hughes out here.
So we heard the student's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're
Okay.
interested to hear about the professor. So how long have you been covering the graphic design program there at Jackson College?
Terrific. I have been there since 2011.
You've been doing this for almost 15 years. Have you always been in the teaching realm?
No, I have not. I started out at Western Michigan University.
Go Broncos!
Yeah, go Broncos.
Oh yeah.
And I did my BFA, my Bachelor of Fine Arts in Painting. I was a painter, and I was also from the UP, and I was 9 hours from home without a vehicle and $7 in my pocket. So I was like,
Ooh.
I need to do something with my life, and I cannot buy art supplies with $7 and make it. So I basically did all the graphic design courses because I wanted to make some money, because that was back then.
Okay.
That's what in the 90s, early 90s, that's what I needed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I started.
Okay.
And then it evolved from there to, I started at Gilmore Brothers, downtown Kalamazoo. I worked as a design coordinator there. It was a 100-year-old department store, so it was retail design.
Ooh.
Did some really cool things there. We did photographs, photo shoots, and did all their like seasonal fashion stuff.
Oh yeah.
So that's how I started. And
Okay.
then came over to the Metro Detroit area, and then gotten into advertising, and then worked in advertising for 6, 7, 8 years maybe. Now my timeline's getting a little fuzzy, but never wanted to teach. And then someone asked me to do a drawing class one time. And I picked up a drawing class, fell in love with it, went back, got my master's so I could teach full time, because that's became a passion.
So tell us about your artistry and your posters and like what.
It's amazing. I always wanted to be an artist,
Yeah.
but I wanted to be an illustrator. I wanted to do book covers.
Ooh, book covers.
Yes,
That's cool.
Paintings.
Sure.
And that's all I really cared about. But I knew a guy in the neighborhood named Mouse, and he was a poster artist in San Francisco. So when I went through San Francisco on my way to college in LA, I ran into him. He was doing these posters, which are really cool.
Yeah.
Art.
Yeah. Right.
And when I got back to Detroit, I found out there was a place in Detroit called the Grandy Ballroom,
Okay.
which also was doing the posters. So I hooked up with the main guy, Gary Grimshaw.
How long ago was this?
This is pretty recently.
Oh, okay.
1967.
You trolled me.
Yeah.
Got me good.
When was this? Do I look like a kid starting out?
You do.
No.
Hey, we just talked to somebody that started playing ukulele at 61. So
Yep.
you never know.
And he's amazing.
Wow.
He's amazing at the ukulele.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
But you've been doing this a lot longer than
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah, 67, I started doing it professionally in Detroit, and didn't think much of it. I loved doing it. I got to go into the print shop where they actually made the posters,
Yeah.
printed them,
That's cool.
and hung out and learned all of the tricks of the trade. I did all of the stripping of the negatives in the dark room, and
okay.
making the plates, the printing plates, and I got really technically involved, and I loved doing. Every time I did a poster, I tried to make it different than the other one.
Initially you were like, I want to illustrate.
Yeah.
And you ended up doing that for books,
for
book covers.
absolutely.
Yeah.
For years, 13 years in New York.
So your focus was on the fantasy genre?
Yeah,
That's
science
cool.
fiction.
Science
But I quit in '87. I started doing fine art, doing my own paintings.
Oh, really?
Fantasy, surrealist based,
Okay.
things like I like to do. And I did really well at that too. I sold them at street art fairs and Renaissance fairs and all over the country. I sold my work.
Okay.
So I've been very successful at doing one thing, artwork.
So how long you been doing design?
Arting.
Arting,
like that.
yeah.
Honestly, my whole life, but professionally since COVID. Studio engineer. I actually got a job at the Chelsea Theater.
Yeah.
2 days before they locked everything down.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So that's how I made money, obviously.
Yeah.
And then I have children. So my wife is still currently a nurse. So that was all up in the air. We didn't know if she had a job. So I didn't know what to do, right? So when times are tough, I'm like, what's left to do? I can't go out, I can't see people. So music is still happening and concerts are still happening because they were doing all those
Live streams.
deals.
Yeah.
And so Billy Strings at the time was doing it was called like Save the Venue through Nashville. He was playing all these shows that were booked, but with no crowds, live stream on the internet. But he still had posters. Every show had a poster.
Cool. Yeah.
That's effort.
Right. That's effort. And so then, being a fan, I love that. And then kind of the artist money making, gotta survive and keep my family afloat thing kicked in. And they were like, look at these people buy these posters. They'll release 50 posters and they are gone within 5 minutes.
Yeah. Right.
$40.
When you walk into the venue, you go to the poster line.
And and it's through the
You
door.
run to the poster line.
Right. That's become a thing. And that in itself, just out of the art world, doesn't really exist anywhere anymore. It's like the nostalgia of just that's that moment in time. You could ask my wife because she absolutely hates it, but our house, I have 4 walls in my house that are floor to ceiling posters.
Wow.
I want to
3
see
high.
the pictures of that shit.
You've been doing this for a very long time.
Yep.
And sounds like you did some concert posters back in the day. But where did this really start and how did you get into drawing?
I had a really cool art teacher at Eastern High School. And she really encouraged me. She was like a mentor. And I took all the art classes I could. So they put me in an art room by myself. And I had 3 teachers coming in off and on telling me what to do. Well, let's see you do this, but don't use any black paint, or let's see you use this to make a picture and stuff. So I had my guitar in there. I could stay until the janitors came, and my art teacher used to leave me pop and not pot, pop.
Soda.
Yeah.
Yep. Soda pop in the closet. So I'd have pop up there. I had a record player up there and I played records and I'd just be in there drawing and painting and stuff. And
Dang.
I know.
That's awesome.
That's the life.
Yeah.
It is the life, dude.
So I'd be up there even during the day. If I get my stuff done in another class, I go, well, I'm going down to the art room. Oh, okay. So I'd be down there like 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And then the next year they started classes like that where they called them art blocks because people were getting excited. Oh, you mean we can have 2 or 3 hours of art in high school? And they got,
That's cool.
because I was getting people that wanted to be in there with me that was serious about art.
Yeah.
And that's what they saw, that I was serious about making art and I wasn't just messing around.
Right. Artist, designer. What else, Matthew? Tell us a little bit. Magician.
What?
Yes. That's how you started out, kind of, right?
That's true. Yes. Yeah. When I was 7, I started performing at birthday parties in the neighborhood. By the time I was 12, I had opened up for Tiny Tim at the Sonic Temple, Tiptoe Through the Tulips.
12?
Yeah, for a policeman's ball. What? Yeah, and did halftime for the Detroit Pistons.
What?
I opened up for Jack White in Las Vegas in 2022 with the Cosmopolitan.
That's got to be like up here.
That was a little crazy.
That sounds like badass.
So outside of poster design, like you said, you're a designer.
Yes.
By just trade, right? That's
correct.
You've done that. How long have you been doing that?
Well, I graduated from art school in 1993. So
okay.
Quite a long time. I first studied graphic design at what was at the time called the Center for Creative Studies in Detroit when I was a junior in high school in 1987 or 88. So I've been designing for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I took graphic design class my freshman year in college 25 years ago. Right. Did you see that look on his face? He's thinking I'm old as balls, man.
No, I'm not. I'm just thinking, at that time, you guys didn't have all the resources that we have now. So that you were pretty much just doodling.
So I can ask you. So
it's not that quite that bad.
But I want to maybe ask you some questions that I was thinking I could ask a lot of questions to the professor, like how things might have been different. I knew what it was years and years ago. So I got in it because I was really interested in like graphic design, but advertising agency work,
right?
And creating that kind of stuff for a company, for their clients. And there was no, like we did almost next to no video. I took a photography class by itself, but then the graphic design class, the class was to learn Photoshop, to learn Illustrator. And I think we used the web design, Dreamweaver. Because we did incorporate some web stuff.
Right.
So it was just basically an Adobe training class. And we got the whole semester schedule, projects, tests, quizzes, homework ahead of time.
Right.
I went home and I did the entire semester in the first 2 weeks and I never went back to class. I got 100. I aced the entire thing. It was so, I was like, this was kind of wimpy.
Right.
So then as years went by, they incorporated more things. And obviously today it's completely different.
Oh,
so what are some of the things that you do go through in that program? What are you learning? What are the tools you use?
It's a lot of hands-on work where she will give us a project and then she's like, you have free range, but I need you to meet these certain requirements. So that's what I really enjoy about the way that she teaches, because you're giving me the synopsis of what I need to do, but then you're like, as long as you're creating and you're learning and I'm able to see that you're getting something out of it, you're good to go.
There are some similar components, but overall, I would say there's so much that's different from when I started till now.
Yeah.
I taught mostly as an adjunct. I bounced around Oakland Community College, Schoolcraft. I've taught at a lot of different colleges as an adjunct. But from back then till now, what's primarily different now is the online component. Obviously, especially in this area, a lot of people, I don't think there's certain areas of people that really didn't want to dive into the online learning right away, but then COVID forced people. I think a lot of people felt that way in general, like even with working situations, they didn't feel comfortable working from home 100% until they were forced to work from home.
Right. Yeah.
And some people loved it too, but it's not everyone. But I think going back then, online was very stifling for some people, and now it's what we do. We all are remote all the time mostly, but I think now we're trying to find better ways that we can learn, still grasping that personal interaction aspect of teaching. So a lot of the courses that I'm doing at JC are like the HiFlex, it's called. And so it's online, but there's a synchronous and asynchronous component to the live sessions. So they hop on once a week during the live sessions. And then I'll guide hands-on guided learning as well. So I have students in the lab on their computer while I'm doing my live session, or they're in there with me in the live session face to face.
Wow.
I record it so they can also get it at their own pace whenever they want. So that's what I would say is totally different.
That is to me, yeah.
But it gets lonely because there are a lot of students. There are some classes where students don't want to they're like, I've got this. I can just watch the recording later. So I do miss that. I really miss that personal interaction when their eyes light up and they get something, a concept that I've been able to reinforce, or I see it in their work where their talents are flourishing. I mean, that's that's what I miss most of all about back then. But I feel like it might be coming back a little bit with this way of like we're delivering things customized to a person's lifestyle. People are working full time, working 2-3 jobs sometimes now. It's hard to do anything now. Everything's so expensive. People have to juggle things. And so they're juggling a family and working, and they're maybe going to school and trying to get their associate degree just to get another credential, feather in their cap. And so they have to juggle. And so maybe they're at home at 10 at night trying to finish a certification or a degree of sorts. So this is a great way to be able to capture all lifestyles. And
so what is kind of the approach or the program as a student comes in at Jackson College? What's kind of that the life cycle?
So they start out with a little intro, and then they do some design concepts, and they have their base art courses, and then they come back in and they do like I think it's like they dive into Illustrator for an entire class, and then Photoshop and InDesign, and then we have an animation class, and then branding. They have all of that, and then printing, and then they do their portfolio at the end alongside like a capstone project or an internship.
Okay.
If they're
That sounds
ready
cool.
for it. Yeah.
That sounds really fun.
And that's the associate degree in a nutshell.
While I'm going through my internship process, I'm learning what I like and what I don't like. And I'm learning that I'm not tailored for corporate America. Like, there's no way that I'll be able to create any of the work that I'm showcasing today. So me being able to step out and like, okay, this is what I do like. Where does this lead me going forward? That part I'm still trying to figure out. I'm just going to be totally honest.
No, that's it's an evolution. It should be that way.
Yeah, everyone's asking me, what are you going to do after you graduate? I'm like, don't ask me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll figure that out later.
Right.
Yeah.
You mentioned corporate side of it, and I do design again from rock bands to consumer brands.
Right.
But there was one day in particular I feel that really is a good example of that. I had designed an album called They Want My Soul for a band called Spoon that was released in 2015. And they had a show, an album release show in New York City on the day that record came out. And I happened to be in New York and was able to go to that show. And the reason I was in New York was because I had just rebranded, redesigned the identity for the New York Stock Exchange.
Oh, wow.
Which New York Stock Exchange,
as corporate as you can get, man.
Yeah, exactly. And there's very, very different.
Oh my gosh!
But both of those projects were and I probably have to say the Spoon album. Hours maybe actually took a little longer. No, actually has lasted longer. The New York Stock Exchange logo lasted nearly 10 years, and they've recently changed it. I know because I had spoken in my son's class. I was like, I designed the New York Stock. I also had designed the scoop cups and cone wraps you used to get at Baskin Robbins. And so I went and spoke. This was actually a few years ago because my son was still in middle school. And I showed this work. And the next thing I know, Baskin Robbins changes their thing, and New York Stock Exchange changes their. Like, they think I'm a liar.
Oh, man.
That's crazy. It's a misnomer out there. Like, I think there's truth to it, but at the same time, artists, they can't make any money, or they have a hard time making money. But you've done a nice job, it sounds like, making money over your life.
Oh, yeah.
With different things. I mean, different, but the same general theme is that you're making art.
Right.
And why is that, Carl? Why were you so successful versus maybe somebody who says, I'm a struggling artist?
I had a great desire to do this. That's all that matters to me. Wanting to do it. Anybody that wants to do something really bad will do it. They'll be terrible at first, but then they'll learn, and they'll eventually, if they don't give up, they can keep working and eventually become great and at least successful. That's all I believe in is desire. You want to do something, you'll have to do what it takes to succeed.
Yeah. And you never felt, I always hear this sometimes, especially when somebody's passionate about what they make and they love just sharing it with people, that they have a hard time selling it. You know what I'm saying? Like making money off of something they enjoy. what would you say to that?
Well, there's a that's a big obstacle. I was very fortunate. In 1967, I met my wife, and she became my whatever. Did everything for me. Took care of all the business, all of the housework, everything there is, and let me create. I was very fortunate to have her
Okay.
and keep her all these years.
God bless your wife, man, for allowing you to just be able to, like you said, to be able to do this. And now I can understand why. You have so much. You'd be hindered if you didn't have her and you had to worry about dealing with business stuff and schedules and
she did
whatever.
everything. She did it all. And now since she's sick, I'm taking care of her. I'm doing it all. I pay all the bills. I do all the work, for the house and all.
Good stuff.
So we switched roles. But
you're a good man.
We're lucky. We had found each other and stayed together all this time.
Yeah. Something to be said for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But if I didn't have her, I would have struggled a lot more.
For sure.
Okay. Yeah.
But it just takes wanting to do it. I went to New York. I met all the famous artists. I tracked them down. I asked them questions. I learned. You have to want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people dabble and try, but I had to. So that's the difference, I think.
That's great advice. Yeah. You got to want it.
Well, yeah. If you don't want it, you're not going to do the work.
For sure.
In any endeavor.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to do. It sounds like you're passionate about and make a living off of that.
Oh yeah, because the better I got, the more passionate I got about it. To the point of that, I really care about it now.
So, what would be some advice for a young artist starting today, based on all the things you've seen? Like, what would you provide to them?
Dealing with art and music?
Either. Yeah.
I think if it's an artist that wants to get into doing posters and T-shirts and CD covers, is start with a musician that you actually know.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could contact a print shop or something like that and let them know that you want to freelance. I think that's the two main things, because that's kind of the way I did things. I was doing for musician people that I knew, like the Dogs, and I was doing stuff for the Woolies. The Woolies had me do a lot of posters back then too, and Plain Brown Rapper. I can't think of who else. There was like a few bands that just, I would be the guy that they would come to.
That's cool.
Again, all my education is in one place. So if you look for a job that doesn't fall into that category, you look like you're 14 years old, I got kitchens and music. That's it.
Yeah.
So, trying to apply for an art director job or, graphic designer, people are like, well, where'd you go to school?
Right.
What art school did you go to? It's like, well, I went to Full Sail. And they're like, well, that's not art school. And so you don't get a job.
It's like, but look at all the stuff I've made. How cool is this shit?
Right. And they don't,
that should speak higher than.
I agree. Because I would.
Where you went to school.
I would hire someone who had no schooling over schooling due to the creativity points.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I learned that a lot in music, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I sat behind that console for thousands of hours watching hundreds of people play music. Some people, it's like having a conversation, it's just natural. Some people have to force it, right? But whatever. Some people are doing it for the wrong reasons, and you can tell, and that always kind of struck me, is like being able to sit there and be like, this person is not being genuine at the fact that the words they're saying, or, the vibe that they're trying to be somebody else.
Yeah.
And that in this world is hard to do. You know what I mean? It doesn't work.
You can't fake it.
You can't fake it.
There's this thing called Photoshop.
Yep.
And when I did posters back in the day, it was all hand done.
Right. Yeah.
Or depending on the art style you have.
Grueling work, doing lettering. I wasn't a lettering fan, but I had to do it to make a poster.
Yeah.
But now it's just a magic. I can do it in a couple hours. I can do a poster.
Wow.
Which is insane to me.
I had all that schooling in music engineering, and I don't know if you're familiar with it at all, but maybe you guys do. Radio Pro Tools, you know Pro Tools?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pro Tools and Photoshop
Mm-hmm.
are pretty much the same thing.
Okay.
Literally, one's
Yeah.
visual, one's audio, but all the controls, it was so familiar. It was ridiculous.
It was an easy transition for you to jump into that.
Immediate.
So is there anything changed with you talked about Adobe, you've got Illustrator, InDesign, all those things. It sounds like a lot of the same, at least products or the companies that are creating these things. Is that really kind of just stayed the same as the base for great graphic design, or have you seen some new tools come about or new products?
So many new tools. Some of them are fleeting, like image editing tools. I taught a class called Image Editing Apps, and it's all
class called Image Editing Apps.
Yeah.
I didn't know there would ever be a
And
class.
it was
There's that many.
Survey class, and this was maybe I think I wrote it 10 years ago. Survey class on all of the apps that are out there that you can simply use the tool. They're basic, we all know the crop tool, what that looks like, and what do these different apps do, and which one is the best type of thing. Almost all of them are gone now.
Oh, isn't that bonkers?
Wow.
Dang.
So these same tools that we had at these surveying these, all these apps are now kind of embedded in Canva and all the like templated type of AI programs that are out there now.
But Adobe's always been there. Adobe's always been there as a solid rock.
Adobe's that industry standard.
We battle.
Adobe will find a way
to stay relevant.
Constantly stay relevant and charge us as much as they want.
Exactly. But we've battled just using Adobe because it's more work to do what we want and it looks great. But it can be expensive in that way. And using an AI tool for our reasons, and not necessarily a graphic designer thing, but editing podcasts, right? It speeds things up so much faster.
I bet.
So it's give and take, pull and push kind of deal.
It's great and it's a wonderful tool. And I think there's just so many of my colleagues now are using it. I think you get a lot of designers that are really upset about it because they feel threatened. Anybody can dive in and use it. The difference is, do they understand do they understand copywriting as it relates to AI? Do they understand what they're putting in and how they're delivering the message? There's so much that goes into it. I think that,
and if you're using AI
a
as a tool, that's totally perfectly fine. If you're using AI as a tool to help you get what you need to accomplish.
So much out here that AI can do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still able to take whatever I find on the internet and I'm like, okay, well, I can manipulate this in the way that I want to and still learn my creative process. So I'm still getting my hands and feet wet.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a process. Anything with creative stuff as well, you learn a lot.
I think that's like the biggest difference that I was hoping you would kind of say is, I didn't want to say, well, I'll use an AI. I wanted you to say something about AI, because to me, growing up, learning Adobe tools and how to do things one way, old school way, whatever.
Right.
But today, AI tools that are available, it's hard for me to try to use it even sometimes, where for you, it might become a lot more natural because you're younger than me.
I hate it.
Okay, so fair enough. I was wondering, so it's a tool, but sometimes you got to use a tool that you don't love.
I use it as like how you Google.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
I'm like, okay, if I get stuck on something, show me, and then they'll give it to me, and I'm like, that's gross, but I can go ahead and take.
Yeah. So you use it to like continue sparking that creativity to keep going, and you keep doing your thing.
Yes.
That might be my favorite answer about how to use AI as a tool right there. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah,
that
I use it
great.
as Google.
Good.
Especially
good
when
stuff.
I run into a roadblock. Even some of this stuff that when I toy around with it, it looks so unrealistic. I'm like, well, thanks for the inspo, but this is trash.
Yes. You freaking nailed it, man. Because you can tell, you can spot AI.
Right. And that's the thing, is people call it AI art, and it's not art. It's regurgitated pre-existing things.
Sure. Yeah.
If you use it as a tool to, like earlier today, we had a college student, graphic designer. So he's on the younger spectrum of, he does the same thing but he's just getting into it.
Yeah.
And he was saying how he purposely only uses it as a tool uses it like Google. He doesn't use it to create, uses it to answer a question or show something. He's like, okay, I got it, throws it away. Now he goes and does his thing.
Right. And that makes sense. Cause that's
that should be like the extent of it. Like, don't get it. Don't tell Midjourney to create some picture with 16 prompts, and I'm like, hey, look at that, I'm a graphic designer, and I'll sell you this for $80.
Well, and then it's even gotten to the point where people will do that, and then they will trace it. You know what I
So
mean?
it's real.
Right. So the little scanner
I
things
never
don't
even
tell-
thought about that.
Yeah.
I
But,
never even thought about that.
you know, when somebody puts art that is it's 180 degrees from what they normally do, it's pretty easy to tell. You know what I mean?
Taking the creativity out of it, because I have a friend that loves sending me like Midjourney images he creates or grok images that he'll create. Oh, look, he's all the time he sends it to me, and now I start to think that he thinks he's like really artsy and he's artistic because he can do all these things. Like, dude, you are just typing a few words into a prompt and sending me what comes out, or maybe adjusting a little bit. That's not, like, that's what I don't like. Now, he's my buddy and we're just doing it in fun. But then I know that there's people, Spotify doing it with creating AI bands and putting it out there to make money. That sucks. I got rid of my Spotify subscription because of that. Fake AI bands out there that are people don't understand their AI bands are fake. They're not real. They're not real people at all. Spotify is making more money by you listening to them than paying an artist that's real doing it.
Okay, I'm
So
really curious about that.
Do you guys have an AI class that talks about?
So yeah, I have I embedded Canva right into my intro to creative software class because they need to know Canva.
Yeah.
A lot, even though all the Adobe programs are standard, industry standard, Canva and all the we have Adobe Express, Adobe Firefly, all of those are AI Adobe software. So there are good ones and bad ones, and I feel like they're all pretty good for us to all dabble in.
The balance, and like you said, if you use it as a tool in the right confines, you're probably fine. But in the long run, where do you stretch? Where's that line to draw?
Yep. As far as the AI thing goes, man, I don't think it's going to be as big of a problem as a lot of my peers think it's going to be.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah. I think people in the end will see they want the authentic, genuine thing. And then in the short term, sure, there's going to be a little bit of a tick up, right? Hey, let's go experiment. Let's look at this stuff, see how it goes. But I think in the end, at least I have confidence in the human race that we'll find that we really want the genuine, authentic creation.
Well,
from humans.
Absolutely. Well, and even so, I'm a very easygoing person, right? So in my mind, as soon as AI becomes truly sentient and can completely do its own thing, then talk to me about AI art, because then it's creating something. You know, it's not pulling stuff from existence and blah.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, how you can't create, again, in my opinion, you can't create things that are infused with emotion, like music and art, without the ability to feel emotion.
Yeah, right.
Sure, yeah.
You know, how can you?
Sure, you can copy.
That? Exactly.
That's all it's doing. Just copying a lot.
And I think that's the folly of AI, I guess, is that it sees those things, but it can't translate them. So it ends up creating things that are culturally incorrect, culturally insensitive, or just flat out wrong. You know, like it doesn't even make sense.
Right.
And so until they start processing emotions, you know, which will come, I am fully and thoroughly convinced that someday in the near future we will have robots, if we don't already, that have feelings. It's only natural. However, at that same point, it will never be human art, because we are humans. Just like, you know, I could cover my cat in paint and it could roll around on a mat.
It's cat art.
Right, but I still cover the cat in paint.
Yeah,
You know, it's my
yeah.
idea. The cat's not going to be like, hey, you know, this would be cool.
Yeah. That'd be crazy if it could.
So my mind's right. My mind's open.
If it does, you might want to check what you just smoked or whatever.
Well, and monkeys will do that. You know, monkeys will make art.
Yeah.
But monkeys are very close to us. So in that mindset, it's art, but it's not human art. You know, they don't feel human emotion or whatever. So I'm anxious to see what sentient robot art will look like.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it'll look like the crap that is happening now.
Yeah,
Right.
that would make sense. Yeah, I
because
hear
that's
ya.
still humans with human ego and
Yeah.
human emotion and whatever, having a robot make things,
Right.
which we've seen the movies, it always ends up this.
That's yep. As long as it doesn't go that route.
Yeah, well, I
it
mean,
might be okay. Look, I mean, that's why I decide to look at AI as a tool right now. Like the internet came out, eventually we had to get rules and regulations around how the internet worked. Now we're past that quite a bit. Now we have AI, and we're just not to the point where there's rules and regulations yet. So it's the wild, wild freaking west.
Well, right. And how are you going to regulate something that's thinking on a quantum level?
Right. Like maybe we don't have ways to rule and regulate it. Do you have rules in your class? Like
Absolutely, and that's a great question. We just came up as a college. We had an AI committee because, of course, every college has a gazillion committees.
Yep.
And we have an AI committee, and we all come together, and we've written an AI college policy.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, we embed that in all the syllabi across the college. And then I've taken my syllabus or my syllabi, and then I went in and I just add a little disclaimer. You can use AI. When I tell you can use AI, basically.
Yeah, right.
And I allow them to. I'm like, dabble in Canva and come up with something.
Mm-hmm.
I even have them asking AI in the voice of Bugs Bunny or in the voice of, what's the weather in Jackson today, in the voice of Bugs Bunny, and then use that, whatever ChatGPT comes up with, then use that, integrate that into a design.
Oh, okay.
Because sometimes they don't always, I want them to get the design concepts, but they don't, but I want them to use copy and I want them to be engaged in the project. So doing something like that might be a little more fun than just here, use some placeholder text and
right.
together.
So I'm going to tell you, and I'll share with you that you should watch an Ignite talk. Do you know what Ignite talk is? I did an Ignite talk at what was called Ord Camp at Google's headquarters in Chicago several years ago. And it was about the color of money. And in there, I argue that the color of money is blue, not green. And I think you should watch it. In there, I mention Jack White, the White Stripes. I mentioned Cards Against Humanity, which has been a client and sort of partner of mine for project for Jack White, as well as a Black Friday project I designed for them for Prongles chips when they decided that they were going to leave the game business behind and go into the potato chip business, because they're obviously, like, when you're in grocery stores, what do you see more of, games or potato chips? Potato chips. There's obviously a lot more money in potato chips. So they decided they were going to. And the mascot for Prongles was a hog, because I looked up online what animals eat potatoes. And the hog was like the best and most obvious that like naturally eats potatoes. So there's this crazy like 90s like exports hog on all the. I'm
going to look that up.
Well, and I have both the what's it called, potato and salt flavor, and the what's the other flavor? Anyway, I have two of the flavors here. The problem is they expired in 2018. so I don't think you should eat them.
But you can check them out.
Yeah. But
they're not like Twinkies. They're still good.
They could be, yeah.
I heard that story too.
Or McDonald's.
Like a burger, sitting around for years.
Yeah, it was actually anyway. So watch that Ignite talk, because I still think it's sort of.
I'll check it out.
I learned something while putting it together. But the Whopper, there was a commercial that won all these awards in the world of advertising about 4 years ago called the Moldy Whopper. And it was because they took a McDonald's burger, didn't mold. They took a Whopper and they filmed it over the period of, let's say, 30 days.
Yeah.
And very quickly and beautifully it molded. And so that was their ad, showing their moldy burger, because it's like, this is real beef.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I
feel like that's a double-edged sword. You like, someone seemed like, moldy burgers, I'm not buying Burger King. But they were trying to show you like when you actually pay attention to the commercial, it makes perfect sense. And it's a healthier option of the two burger fast food burgers.
Another great, I'm a big fan of a lot of Burger King's advertising. Another thing that they did that I thought was great was they showed their stores that had erupted in flames, and it said
Flame broiled. Yeah,
and
yeah.
they had like 3 or 4 different locations that
makes-
really were caught on fire.
Interesting. I like
Yeah.
that. Makes sense.
Yeah, it's fun.
Personally, you still diving in and doing things on a personal level?
Yeah, less so right now, but I'm doing more fine art again, honestly.
Ooh.
I've missed it so much. I've been dabbling in, I got a little encaustic kit from Amazon. It's just, heat and wax, and I'm trying to cuz I loved painting back then, and I took so long away from it cuz I was raising my son, and I had he's a senior now. He's about to graduate this year, but there's just so much that I was doing, trying to build my courses at JC's, that I started to miss my fine art again.
Yeah.
And so on the side, I do logos and projects whenever I'm, if it makes sense.
They come up.
Yeah. But I find myself going back to what I kind of done in the beginning, is the fine art again. So it's like I tell my students, your first idea isn't always your best. Explore. And if you can't find something, go back to that first idea. I find myself, I'm going back to what I love to do, when I first went to college, which is paint and printmaking, lino cuts and stuff like that. And I don't have a body of work right now, but maybe soon.
So I was just wondering, being a professor at school teaching art, graphic design, whatever, you're spending your whole day doing that and then going home. Do you feel like you ever got burnt out from teaching art and then going to do art creatively on your own?
Never. If
Good for
if
you.
I could come home and do artwork, that was always exciting for me. It's never worked for me. Same with design. I even find myself, I did a lot of pieces for the marching band because my son's marimba player, and
Sweet. He's in the pit.
He's in the pit. Yeah. So I did a lot of work for their events and stuff, and I found myself, I could spend hours, and I look up and I'm not even bothered with it.
When you are
Yeah.
that passionate about something that you don't care about what time it is. You're like, oh man, the moon is really bright out there. What time is it? Dang.
So where do you get your inspiration for your art?
Where do I get the inspiration for my art? Art is such a peaceful process for me that I might see something that inspires me, whether it be work here, and then mostly what I love to do is build textures. And I have some friends that ask me to do these big murals. Maybe they bought a new house and they want a big mural for one of their big walls. I'll do something like that. I really love Juan Miro. I just like to experiment with textures and different types of materials.
Different mediums. It sounds like
I
even
need to get back to it, but it really is my
keep the blood flowing, the passion flowing.
Yeah. So how did you get into just you were showing this book, and we were seeing some of the other art,
the doodling?
The doodling. So how did this all kind of start? And
the doodling happened because I was in a band, and we would go. The lead guitar player lived close to a Dog and Suds.
Okay.
And I used to doodle on the napkins there. This was in 69 or 70. And I would give them to the waitress, and, but there was one time I came back into the Dog and Suds, and they had them all up on the wall. They were displaying all. I went, whoa, I didn't know I did that many. I started doing it more in 95. I started drawing a lot more in sketchbooks. And I would do that while I'm waiting for a doctor or dentist appointment or something. Or my wife's she goes off shopping, and I'm sitting in the car, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, right.
And the napkin doodles, I start going to Bigby probably not too long after they opened. I think that might have been in 95 or 96 or something. If I'm meeting with a client or doing errands, I'd stop and have an iced tea, and I'm there doodling on the napkin. And at first, I would leave them on the table that I was at, but customers were just taking them. I was meant to leave it for the people working there. So I start writing on there this belongs to the Bigby crew. If you want this, you got to give them a $10 tip. And I wouldn't get anything from it.
Sure, yeah.
The tip went to them. So those would go up either taped on their walls or on their bulletin boards. Some places had bulletin boards. You can just kind of pin them up there. And it just kind of grew, you know, and people were just going to the Bigby's to see these things.
Yeah, yeah.
Because while they're waiting for their drinks, they're reading these napkins, you know, because it's not just a doodle. A lot of them are, you know,
You get lost in them, I feel like.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
You can get lost in this artwork,
Yeah,
dude.
it's really, really cool.
But there would be little things like Far Side kind of humor, you know.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I'm not drawing people's caricatures on them, but I might be inspired by somebody that walked in by their features or something that they said.
Yeah.
You know, so I would draw those in a napkin. And then one time, this one barista told me he got $80.
Wow.
Dang.
That was it. His tip.
That's
Yeah,
sweet.
I know it was
That's
during
so-
his shift, and he got $80. You know, and he could have gotten more, but the woman that was getting them, the husband said, "No, you got enough. You know, don't get any more than that." You know, but you know, after I was told not to do it anymore, there was people that go, "Well, here's a place you can do them at," and I go, "No, I'm done. I'm done doodling on napkin." It was like an era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
yeah. Done.
okay,
It's done.
it's done. You know, I'm not looking to do that anymore, and you know, and I can just make my iced tea at home, and you know,
But you have a whole book of those.
I do.
So how did you get those? Are those the ones that were placed up on the walls, or they're different ones?
They were ones towards the end. I would start taking pictures of them. There might be a few of them that I actually scanned. I might have taken them home and then scanned them and brought them back. But I started taking pictures of them, not knowing I was going to put out a book.
Yeah.
Just to keep them posterity.
Say this is what I created. Yeah.
Yeah, just to have photos of them.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, you know, people go, you know, napkins. I heard it in your napkins. I go, well, I got some photos and stuff. But then like people were going, you ought to put a book out. But the quality
didn't lend itself to.
Well, it looks like the book looks like it's underground kind of, you know, almost like when people were doing the zines and they were Xeroxing things.
Yeah.
It has that feel to it.
Gotcha. Which is cool, but is that what you wanted to put out?
I wanted to put them out just because people wanted the book.
Yeah.
Because they were saying, yeah, do a book of them, do a book, you know. And the other thing was like, okay, I'll do that, and let the people that actually liked them, I can let them know. Okay, I've got about 3 years worth of doodles in this book, you know. But I don't know. It's the kind of thing where it's not. My books aren't big sellers. The coloring books go more than the art books, and the art books are more something I just started doing because people didn't want to color in the coloring books.
They want to just, it's like, so then buy the other book.
No. Well,
or that's what sparked you to.
Well, that's what sparked me to do the art books. Okay, I'll just cram them full of drawings. But when they were buying the coloring books, oh, we like this. We don't want to color in it. I said, we'll buy two.
Yeah, you go.
Color in one and then keep one.
Yeah, smart. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. There is an art store in Old Town, Lansing. And they sell some of the coloring books.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you said there's things that you like to do, what is it? What is it from the output right now? Like, what do you enjoy creating?
Art, honestly. I mean, I can't draw for anything, but if I can take something that I think of creatively and put it into Photoshop or Illustrator or whatever have you, and I'm like, okay, when I go back and I look at it, like, granted, you know, I'm not Van Gogh by any means, but this is nice.
Yeah.
And that's what I like, where I'm still able to tap into my tech side, but still put my artistic twist on it. I love it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Graphic design at Jackson College is a great way to build a magnificent portfolio at the associate degree level, where you can then either transfer into maybe getting a user experience degree or some kind of, you know, some kind of more multimedia art, digital art, and interactive media degree. I do have students come through that also want to go into like 3D design and animation, and we have a certificate for them as well. We use Blender for that.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
So we're about to reveal a stackable credential offering in the next couple months.
Okay.
Where it's like they can do a graphic design certificate, digital marketing certificate, 3D design animation certificate, and ladder that all into the digital arts and interactive media.
Okay.
So that's just been proposed and approved. So I'm going to be reorganizing that delivery. And I think it's really nice because it's less graphic design only, but it's got digital media arts. It's got
Right.
a little taste of everything because so much overlaps now in the industry.
Are you calling that is there a term you're using for what that is?
Digital arts and interactive media will be the name of the program. I'm about to go to a conference tomorrow. It's called Competency-Based Education. And you made me think of something. When you group all these little credentials together, the way of the future, so they say, there is an academic side, but if you're going into something that's like graphic design or the trades, the way of the future is like competency based, where we're going to be able to walk around with our smartphones with something called a comprehensive learner record, where instead of having a transcript, you have, these are all the skills that I know. And it's like almost like a driver's license that you can carry around with you.
Gotcha.
What?
That's like businesses might start to look more into less credit and degree oriented types of credentials and more of the like, what are the skills?
Yeah,
that you
right.
can
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
cool. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. So I'm going to go learn about that. It's my 4th conference. They really do a great job at the conference, but
That's cool.
yeah, I'm excited. And our college is really invested in that. Jackson College is really invested in getting that our students to learning skills and to build upon those skills.
Cool.
So I'm excited.
Yeah.
So people need to check out Jackson College, especially Chrissy Hughes and
Yeah,
what you're
thanks
doing
so
over there as a
much.
professor. And if you like this episode, make sure to subscribe and also check out our website, themittenmusic.com. Sign up for future information and also check out our social clips on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Make sure to tune into our next episode to figure out where we're going next in season 5.